From Kern Government Television, welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting, originating from the County Administrative Center located at 1115 Truxtun Avenue, Bakersfield, California. Kern County's vision is to create and maintain a customer-centered county government designed to garner the confidence, support, and trust of the people we serve. Today's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Board to reconvene. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Gleason.
Here.
Supervisor Scrivener.
Here.
Supervisor Maggard.
Here.
Supervisor Couch.
Here.
Supervisor Perez.
Here.
Thank you. And before we begin this afternoon's business, I have an announcement. While meeting in closed session this morning on item 27 of the 9 a.m. agenda, the Board of Supervisors voted unanimously 5-0 to appoint Andy Apple as Director of Libraries effective immediately. Ms. Apple has over 19 years of experience with the department, where she has served as Assistant Director since 2011 and Interim Director since December of 2016. Ms. Apple has a long and successful history of developing and managing programs such as the One Book Project, the Summer Reading Challenge, and the Summer Lunch Program. Her ability to partner with allied agencies and county departments to expand the library's role throughout Kern County is vital to the future of our county's library system. As Ms. Apple is a passionate voice for literacy, libraries, and learning, and we are fortunate to have somebody of her caliber and experience to lead the Kern County library system. So congratulations, Ms. Apple. I'd ask if you'd like to come forward and say a few words.
Good afternoon, Chairman Scrivener, members of the board. It is an honor and a privilege to have the board's confidence in my abilities as the next director of libraries for the county of Kern, particularly during a time of transition and reinvention for public libraries. As you know, and pretty much anyone that has ever come into contact with me quickly realizes that public libraries are definitely my passion and my purpose in life. And as a leader in a department of 24 branches and communities across this great county, we have a responsibility for cultivating resiliency in our human capital. There are amazing efforts occurring right now in this county, and libraries are a critical piece in constructing opportunities for youth to learn job skills, as well as creating educational and economic venues for community members to realize their potential. Public libraries provide an important lifeline to jobs, educational opportunities, literacy, health resources, government and community services, especially for immigrants and disadvantaged populations. The branches of the Kern County Library are highly trusted institutions already entrenched in the communities that they are currently serving. In moving forward as a county and as a community, we need to enable all of our public libraries to fulfill their role in the 21st century, which will require library administrators, community leaders, and civic partners to share a new vision for what libraries can be in Kern County. I look forward to working with the board, educators, local businesses, and community stakeholders in exploring and developing new ways of thinking about public libraries in Kern County. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Apple, and once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now for a report on actions taken in closed session, I'll turn to County Counsel Mark Nations. Mr. Nations, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The other item that the board met on in closed session was item number 26, labor negotiations, and there is no reportable action coming out of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nations. All right, the next item on our agenda for our 2 p.m. session, we will consider our consent agenda. All items listed with a CA above the item are considered to be routine and non-controversial by county staff. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion. If a member of the audience wishes to comment or ask questions regarding an item or items on the consent agenda, they may do so prior to a vote being taken on the consent agenda. A member of the board may remove any item from the consent agenda, and it will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the board concerning the item before action is taken. So at this time, I'll read the consent agenda items. Starting on page 2, item 3 is on consent. On page 3, items 5, 6, and 7 are on consent. On page 4, all items 8 through 11 are on consent. I have a correction to read into the record on item 10. Strike all of the staff's recommendation in capitalized letters, and that will read refer back to staff. On page 5, all items 12 through 14 are on consent. And on page 6, all items 15 through 22 are on consent. And finally, on page 7, items 23 through 29 are all on consent. Are there any members of the audience that would like to make comment on the consent agenda? Please come forward. If you could state your name and then give your comment.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I'm Dennis Fox. And she's giving you a cartoon that comes from it's a local paper. Well, it's not a local paper, it's a chain, but it's more independent than what we have. We have a local paper that is not that independent. And you'll notice this cartoon, I find it not too happy with it. Because 5 things. First one is, it's about the current villain du jour of the environmental movement. And by extension, seems that we in Kern County are the villains, which does not happify me. So I think there are some not that I'm opposed to the item, it's that I think there's things to look at. By extension, the first one is, there's 2 different cultures in ag up there. Up there, it was a swamp that got drained and levees put around, and they assessed themselves for the levee districts. Whereas down here, they have great peat soils. We do not have that great a soil currently. We're growing houses on the best soils. And there's a good deal of farming of the taxpayer here, and especially through the zones of benefit. Now it's going not only to the locals, but to people out of town, as they point out. And we're being lumped with that. The thing that's happened is we're getting a focus on the water from the farmers up north. And this is well known from everybody from up north. They don't even have to put a name on it. And I think it's going to nail us because they're looking for their water, not for an increase in the water supply. They're not looking at an increase in water storage locally. That is my opposition to it. I am not part of taking this thing as a villain du jour, which seems to be the way that Saul Alinsky taught people to raise funds. But I do see it as a problem with going down the line with not focusing on getting more water.
And
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. And your comment was in regards to item 19, a legislative matter.
Yeah.
The item is adopting a position of support for HR 23. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just forewarning you.
Thank you, Mr. Fox.
Thank you.
Any other comments on the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, I'll return to the board and ask if any board members would like to remove an item. Otherwise, I'll request a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion. I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Thank you. That takes us to item 1 on our agenda, which is public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the board on any matter not on this agenda, but under the jurisdiction of the board. Board members may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed. They may ask a question for clarification, make a referral to staff for factual information, or request staff to report back to the board at a later meeting. So I'll ask if we have any members of the audience that would like to make a public presentation. Please come forward. If you could, we know you, but if you could state your name for the record. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jeffrey Hill, Assistant County Administrative Officer for General Services. Good afternoon, Chairman Scrivener, members of the board. As you know, I'm the appointed county trustee on the Kern County Museum Foundation Board. I'm here today to introduce you to the new executive director of the Kern County Museum, Mike McCoy. A little recent history first. In the past couple of years, the museum has had some difficulty with leadership. And in fact, For the past several months, the county has operated without an executive director, and the remaining trustees on the board have really stepped up and maintained the focus and direction of the museum while we've been searching for an executive director. The board regrouped and identified the key knowledge, skills, and ability that we thought were required to provide good leadership and direction for the museum. The result of that analysis resulted in the solicitation for an ideal candidate. We advertised broadly and received 70 applications for the executive director position. The board interviewed 5, and the result was an accepted offer by Mike McCoy. Mike comes to us with a bachelor's and PhD from UC Santa Barbara and a master's from CSU Chico. He's a native of Kern County. His experience and demonstrated leadership will pave the way for continued success and stability of the Kern County Museum. So with that, I think Mike has a few words to say.
Thank you, Mr. Hill.
Thank you, Jeff.
Mr. McCoy, welcome.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Well, the first thing I would like to say, I would like to publicly thank this board for your ongoing support for the museum, not only financially, but just all the resources that you provide, and we're very, very grateful for that. Our goal and ambition is to be self-sustaining, and we're well on our way to that. We have a very strong board, we have a great staff, and I just hope that I can come out there and kind of be a catalyst and support the programs that we have, but also kind of grow programs for the future. Just real quick, I am a native of Kern County. My father came here right after World War II to work for Shell Oil Company. I grew up in North Bakersfield, or I guess you'd say Oildale. I'm a North High graduate. And unfortunately, I'm married to a South High graduate, so that's caused some problems in our family. Joking. My wife actually teaches right up the street at Franklin School in the same room she went to kindergarten in. So I have deep roots in Kern County, and went away to school. And I've been gone for 20 years to Northern California as a school superintendent, and very, very glad to be back. And it's kind of like Rip Van Winkle. You're kind of waking up, meeting people. Mike Maggard's sister, I used to carry her amplifiers when she was a young musician about 30 years ago. And so I kind of know everybody, but it's been a while. So I look forward to getting reacquainted, getting our programs out there, and again, serving you as a steward for our historical resources in the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome back. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Mike.
Who'll be next, please?
Hello, Dustin Rylick. I'm the Senior Director of Municipal Development for the California Hero Program under Renovate America. Thank you for allowing me a couple of moments to speak. I just wanted to give this board an update on some great legislation that we've been pushing for close to over a year now to get implemented in the state of California. And I'm happy to let each of you know, and of course your staff, that SB 242 and AB 1284 were approved almost unanimously in the Assembly and in the Senate, with urgency behind AB 1284 that creates the Department of Business Oversight over property assessed clean energy. I know that was a program that we've had in the past some issues with and some questions about, lots of different things around consumer protections. I sent a little update to each of you and some of your staff members, and hopefully you have a chance to take a look at it. But some of the great things about it are the recorded live confirmation of term calls, expanded right to cancel provisions, a lot of things that have to do with the automated valuation. And then also under 1284, the Department of Business Oversight is going to be licensing all PACE providers with a finance license. So they will actually be accountable to the state of California, and that way they can get rid of PACE providers if there's ever a issue that comes up in one of your communities. So hopefully we have a chance to move forward with PACE here in your community in the future. I know that homeowners are asking for it, and I really would appreciate the opportunity to come back before you someday in the future. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you. Do we have any other speakers? Okay, seeing none, then we'll move on to board member announcements and reports. Okay, seeing none of those, then the next item on our agenda is item number 4. This item is under our Planning and Natural Resources Department, and I'll ask Laurel Ioviat, our Department Director, to start us off. Ms. Oviat, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Chairman Scrivener, members of the board. This is an appeal case number 2, map number 77. It's an appeal to the decision of the Planning Commission disapproving a music festival at 26197 Standard Road in Buttonwillow. The applicant and the department believe that a continuance is warranted. There are still questions that need to be answered, and we would like to bring a comprehensive project to your board. Therefore, the applicant has agreed and the staff is recommending to continue this to November 7th, 2017.
Thank you, Ms. Oviatt. I'll now ask if there are any members of the audience who would like to make comment. Please come forward. I ask you state your name, please. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jacqueline Anderson, and I've met all of you at one point or another. I'm JD and a philanthropist here in Kern County, and my family's been in Kern County since 1908. On this matter, I'm not associated with anyone. I'm here merely as a citizen of Kern County who loves music festivals. And I saw it in today's paper, and I felt it was important for me to come and speak to help people understand what a wonderful benefit this can be for our community. I love festivals, but I always have to travel out of town, so I'm driving 4 hours to Palm Springs or to Lake Tahoe or to Utah or San Bernardino. But I just feel like Kern County is the best place to have a music festival of this nature. And I'm not sure what kind of music. I assume that it would be electric music and maybe like Stagecoach and Coachella, where 1 week is Western and another week is electric. So it hasn't really been clarified what type of music, but I'm assuming some electric music. And so I would just really love to have that festival here in town. It does bring in a lot of money to, of course, all the hotels and motels and restaurants. And I really feel that we could benefit from that and that our citizens deserve that. And this is yet, another opportunity to bring more commerce into our community. Also, if you look at EDC, which is the Electric Daisy Carnival in Las Vegas, Nevada, which I've attended for the last several years, it is a wonderful event. And we work, I say we, I'm not part of them, I'm just a goer. I like to attendee, but they work with the California Highway Patrol and the Nevada Highway Patrol to make sure that there's multiple ways to get into these events. And that's one reason that people camp there, is so that on a multiple day festival, you're not trying to come and go, that you're stationary. But I'd also like to point out that EDC in Las Vegas has a online raffle where they raffle off like meeting the DJ, or you get to drop the first song. And when they do this online raffle, they have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars in 1 year. And I didn't get the totals for this year. I just saw it in the paper today, but I know it was well over 300,000 this year. And overall, it's been multi-million. And they've been in Vegas the last 5 years. So this could be an opportunity for us to earn money for things like the museum and for education and, other things in Kern County. So maybe we could talk to them about having something like that to raise more funds. People were real excited about doing the online auctions. I know I participated. I would also like to ask that they do a helicopter pad. EDC does a helicopter pad, and we could do it from Bakersfield Jet Center or Epic Jet Center, and you fly people in, and that would also help with the congestion. And it also helps raise money because you have that as one of the online auctions, is you get flown in every day for 3 days, and people, bid on that. But anyway, I just want to say thank you, and I'm really for it, and I hope that you'll consider it, and that's all.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other members of the audience who'd like to make comment?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm Bill Tracy, one of the many farmers that surround this group. And I'd like to say this is a good concept in the wrong location. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tracy. Any other comments?
Good afternoon, Chairman and all members of the board. My name is Daniel Rudnick, and I'm the owner of the property with my father. And we think it's a great project in the perfect place for Kern County. And I'll come back in the 7th and convince everybody of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rudnick. Any other comments? Okay, seeing none, the requested action is to continue the item to November 7th, so I'll return to the board. Supervisor Couch,
So moved.
Second?
please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Thank you, and that brings us to the conclusion of our agenda, and so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to Tuesday, September 26th at 9 a.m.
Motion.
We are adjourned.